5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Ask and Learn Geothermal Educational Series. Today we're going to spend time on understanding the U.S. federal tax credit and how to take advantage of the 30% federal tax credit for geothermal installations. This is presented and brought to you by Hydron Module Geothermal Systems, made by EnterTech Global. And today with me, I have the opportunity of being with Mr. Doug Rye. And Doug Rye is a wonderful announcer, as well as being on the radio for some time. And I love the fact that having Doug on this call with us in this webinar, he just brings a wealth of knowledge. Myself, I'm Tim Wright with EnterTech Global. But Doug, will you say hello to everybody today on this webinar?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody, and thank you, Tim, and thank you, EnterTech, for having me on here with this information. You all know well how much I believe in geothermal, as I've been teaching this for nearly 30 years, and on the radio show every Saturday, which is heard in many states, and been doing that for almost 25 years, helping people know the truth. I don't sell things, but absolutely I believe in geothermal as the best thing you possibly can do when you're talking about heating and cooling.
Absolutely. Thank you, Doug. It's great to have you, and people can tune in to you on your Home Remedies radio show Saturday morning. So let's just take a little gander inside of EnterTech and Hydron Module. Our systems are all built in Mitchell, South Dakota, and we're actually celebrating our 20th anniversary. In fact, it just passed on May the 2nd. So we've had a wonderful time through the years of being able to manufacture geothermal heating and cooling systems, offering solutions for homeowners as well as property owners with commercial geothermal interest. Our corporate location is in Greenville, Illinois, and we are certainly selling products throughout the United States and Canada, and again, offering a very, very nice residential and commercial product offering. You can see along the bottom some of the organizations and associations that we belong to that we're very proud of, with the Geo Exchange, as well as IGSPA, International Ground Source Heat Pump Association, AHRI member, Energy Star, we'll talk a little bit about that, which is very important for the tax credit, and HRAI, and that is the Heating, Refrigeration, Air Conditioning Institute based out of Canada. So Doug, again, thank you for taking time. But as far as folks getting the most out of this webinar, please feel free to take notes, and you're welcome to ask any questions. And on the right-hand side, you'll see a little pop-up menu, and you can actually type your question in there if you so desire to have that answered for you on this webinar. Or we'll also provide you with a phone number and an email address to reach out to us later on. As always, we encourage you, please feel free to research and review any of the products that we're offering or data that we're talking about today. So, Doug, I have to just hit this little disclaimer. Certainly, anytime we're talking about a federal tax credit, there's a lot of things that we just don't want to take for granted. So if you folks will humor me, I will read through this. This information in this presentation is for general information only. It is provided with the understanding that EnterTech Global, LLC, is not providing tax, accounting, legal, or other professional advice. This material should not be used as a substitute for expert advice from a tax, accounting, or legal professional. So I hate to say that, Doug, but we have to. In this day and age, we just want to make sure that we manufacture geothermal heating and cooling, and people get with their tax folks to have their questions answered as to truly what qualifies. But Doug, just take me back through here. You've been doing geothermal a long time. In this tax credit, just take it away.
Okay, well, quite honestly, yes, we've been doing geothermal, I guess, for about 26 years. My wife and I've had it in our own house for about 24 or something like that, in an older home, in our newer house also. And I learned years ago, working with the federal government, trying to help low-income families, et cetera, with the Farmers Home Administration, take this and learn how to help people have the lowest possible utility bills and comfort, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Make a very long story short, I learned through the years, nothing, I repeat, folks, nothing compares to what geothermal can do for you for heating and cooling. And now with the 30% federal tax credit that runs through this year, and we'll talk about that a little later too, it just makes it really, that with some other things along, it's just a no-brainer now. Nothing, folks, compares to it, period. And it's just amazing. People ought to be lined up from here to California ready to do this. And that's what we're encouraging, is just give you the facts, and then you figure out and you'll learn it's good for you.
And Doug, we don't want to be Debbie Downer, but as you know, this tax credit's been around since 2009. But just talk a little bit about where we are this year in a calendar time of 2016 and when it is set to sunset or expire.
Well, of course, it's an election year, and we don't know often what happens in election years. But yeah, at the end of December this year, if it goes as it is now, it has not been extended, and you only have till the end of this year, to qualify for that 30% federal tax credit. So let me say once again, if you're going to have to buy some kind of system anyway, whether it's a new system for your new house or an existing house that's worn out and you need a new system there, when you take and run the figures and you're going to buy a new system anyway, then you let the federal government, if you qualify on the taxes here for the 30%, why it comes down to where there's nothing compares. There's nothing compares. The payback on the system is such a short period of time to have the best there is. It's just absolutely, I like to use this term, it's really right now a no-brainer, but you better get with it. You need to get her done now.
Thanks, Doug. That's a fantastic point, and it rolls us right into this basic information that we're able to share. But again, we'll just touch on it briefly here, but it can be used in multiple years with regards to also offering it combined with other energy-efficient upgrade credits. So whether you're insulating your home or whether you're putting new windows in, or here's another one. Boy, we've certainly heard a lot about this, haven't we, Doug, with geothermal and wind and solar. All of these tax credits, can be, again, to the best of our knowledge, pulled together. But I still stress to check with your tax accountant as well. Multiple homes. Doug, we see this. Some people, I think like you and I, we have one home here. But there are folks with multiple homes. There's folks with rental property that may want to put geothermal in. Just touch a little bit of that, Doug, if you will, on whether it be a single home or a multiple home.
Okay, well, it comes down to this, as I understand it. If you actually have a primary residence and you have a vacation home, it really is your second home, or even another one, that's your third home or whatever, then the 30% federal tax credit is eligible for the tax credits. If it's rental properties, it comes under the term of a business, it has some tax credits there also, but it's a little different there, so you need to check the books on that one with your accountant and see it there. But if you own the house, if it is a residence, if it's your first or second or third, whatever, it is eligible. And of course, that's also true on new construction and existing both. If you're building a new house, I'm telling you again, it's just a no-brainer. You got to install something anyway. So take that and get the 30% federal tax credit and get the best there is, period. That's just how it is. And I know I said that kind of fast, but nothing compares to geothermal.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. That's great. Let's just take a look here again, as Doug just hit on, really no cap on the tax credit itself. It's not like they've capped it at $10,000, $20,000. It truly is a wonderful opportunity to help yourself save money for your family. And right now, there's no limit number of times that credit can be claimed. But Doug, just take us through a little bit of what's covered, because I'm sure you get asked this question all the time.
Well, yes, I do. And back on that other slide just for a moment, too. Well, no, let's stay on this one, okay? Energy thermals, the equipment itself, if it qualifies for Energy Star, of course it must. New existing homes, new or replacement geothermal systems. And if you want to flip on to the next one there or comment on that, well, we'll see what's covered on that.
You sure can.
Okay, associated costs with converting to geothermal are the cost on new. Your ground loop, and folks, please remember with geothermal, that loop will last for many, many, many years. Sometimes a house might burn down or something, and you can use the loop again, and it has a great warranty on it, etc. All the piping for the system is covered under that 30% tax credit, labor that is involved in installing this, and you move on down a little further to that, and it's a simple thing to do. Tim, let me say this. I worked for the federal government for 23 years, and I know that a lot of things with the government is complicated. Well, this is one of those things that's too good to be true almost, that's really very simple to do. And you're looking at the form right here. Form, what's that number on that, Tim?
Right here, Doug.
I can't hardly, it's right here. Got that form right there. And you take that form, there you go, 5695, the RS form, and if you have your system installed by the end of this year, you fill this out and work with your tax man if you need to. A lot of people can do it yourself, a very simple form that you just prove that you installed geothermal before that last of this year, and put it with your income tax. And folks, I like to say it this way, this tax credit is not a tax deduction, it's a credit, it's real money, and I like to say it comes off the bottom line of your income tax. It's real money, and I tell you, you need to get with it, get her done, get with it, please.
And Doug, I appreciate you bringing that up to just encourage people to get it done, but let's just jump back here a tad. You had mentioned when we had up there the geothermal system and the loop field, and we just chose piping. What does that really mean, Doug, when we're trying to connect to that water heater? Can you just elaborate just a little?
Well, you know, pictures make it a little easier, but you got piping that's in the ground, which is our geothermal loop. Okay, we're connected. No outdoor equipment, folks. And this is unbelievable. There's nothing to maintain outside. It doesn't have an outdoor coil or compressor out there sitting by the brick wall trying to kill itself during the summer months. It's all working off the ground temperature. So there's pipe in the ground, then there's a loop pump kit on the wall there by the unit inside the house, and then there's just that piping, and that's it. I mean, that's it. Then here's neat too, and I think we may show this in a moment too. You can take this system, and the further south you go, the more marvelous this is. But all of a sudden, when you start having excess heat in your house in the summertime, well, we just simply take that and we convert it right over to your water heater. Okay, to your water heater, and like on my wife's house and my house here, from about April 15th to October 15th, we pay almost nothing to heat the water for our hot water heaters, and we have 3 water heaters.
That's fantastic, Doug. Thank you for sharing. So just again, no outdoor equipment, and most of your hot water in the summertime at no cost to you. So that's wonderful. Now, Doug, let's just talk, if we can, a little bit about some of the other geothermal incentives, because it's more than just a federal tax credit. So just take us through a few of these.
Well, it varies a great deal, but you're going to get a link right here, and you'll see this where you can go help out on that, because there's no way that I used to try to do this when I was traveling all over the United States doing seminars, trying to keep up with every utility rebate program and utility incentives to do energy efficiency, et cetera. But there's nearly every state, not every one, but nearly every state has additional rebates, in some cases tax credits too, for energy improvements, including geothermal. And once again, that's just more icing on the cake. If you get the 30% federal tax credit for their conversion to geothermal or for putting it in your new house, then you can go over here and get rebates of several $100s for putting geothermal in or converting to geothermal. You add all of that up, and again, one of my favorite words is it becomes a absolute no-brainer to have the absolute best that there is for very additional cost and for a payback that's very, very short in time.
Very good. Thank you, Doug. And I'm just going to touch on, we have a note up here, geothermal manufacturer rebates. Our marketing department recently have launched what we call our Geothermal Friends and Family program. So I would encourage, if you have a geothermal system already installed in your home, please go on www.hydronmodule.com and please check out the Geothermal Friends and Family program. And basically what that is we're just offering a referral or a finder's fee if you'll help us or help your friends and family also have geothermal installed in their home. Or if you're looking at exchanging, or as Doug said, you've had geothermal for years and just want to upgrade to newer technology and better efficiency, then we would have a rebate check that would come directly back to you. So either way, we definitely like to help pay you as a referral or see the money coming your way for putting a system in. But Doug, let's also just talk about financing, because we talk about return on investment. What does that really mean, whether it's a new home or existing home?
Well, you run the numbers. That's what you do, okay? And financing is available in many different ways, and I don't know all of those either. What I do know is that at today's interest rates, historically low as we do this program right now, it's well worth that investment if you have to borrow the money to do this when you're converting, because I've got a lot of stories on this, but like one builder told me recently, and he builds lots of houses through the years, some of them medium-sized and some very large houses, and he's never done geothermal. He's just now getting well, he's been a little hard-headed about it, really, and he's just now getting where he's willing to look at geothermal. Well, he did a model home recently, about a 6,000 square footer, and it's his own home for he and his wife. And he ran the figures on this. He ran the figures. And he said, he told me, and he said this on my radio show, he said, Doug, I ran the numbers, and I don't know anywhere else where I can invest money and get a return anywhere close to what I will get on my house by doing geothermal. So think of it, folks, as an investment, because it truly, truly is an investment. And then check your financing options, which are lots of different ones. And in many cases, you'll find that it's simply as good an investment as you can find on anything. So a lot of things there, too, and I can't answer all the options there.
Well, very good. Thank you, Doug. That's great. And let's also just encourage folks, if you can take this information down, there's a database of state incentives for renewables and efficiency, and that is at www.dsireusa.org, and that will certainly point you in the right direction based on where you live to see what rebates or incentives may be available for you. So just as we close, we just would love the opportunity again. If you had a question, you're welcome to type it in, and Doug and myself would certainly be more than happy to answer that. Also, go back on the hydronmodule.com that I had referenced earlier in the webinar, and just go to your savings tool calculator, or you're also welcome to just click on the dealer locator, and that would help you find the dealer in your area where you live, and they could help you with a free, no-cost estimate to determine what it would take to put geothermal into your home or your upcoming project. And if you do have something on the go right now, feel free to reach out to us at 618-664-9010, or you'll be able to find this Ask Learn at EnterTechGeo.com, and we'll be more than glad to answer your questions. You can also go back and replay this webinar again if you choose to, and we do keep a video library there at www.hydronmodule.com, and then please check our website for any upcoming webinars. We'd be more than happy to have you join us as well. So with that, we just want to say thank you, and Doug, I'll let you close it out, but I appreciate you taking time just to help folks understand how that U.S. federal tax credit can work for them. Anything that you'd like to add just before we wrap up with a question or so?
Well, not so much add, perhaps, but just remind you of this. Nothing, folks, absolutely nothing compares to geothermal systems, and y'all have got the Cadillac system. There's no doubt about the quality in the industry you have now, and nothing compares to it. In all these years of all the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that I've helped get geothermal in their homes or businesses, almost zero has anyone ever say to me, I wish I hadn't done geothermal. Okay, but everybody that has it loves it. That's just the way it is. So we'll be glad to help you, and you can call any of us anywhere, listen to my radio show or whatever you want to do, and we'll teach you that. But the time is drawing short here, folks. End of this year. So it's the end of 2016. If it's not extended, why, you missed a great opportunity there. If it is extended, well, you simply done it earlier and by saving money earlier. That's how it is. So thanks again, Tim. I was glad to be with you.
Oh, Doug, it was wonderful to have you, and thank you for taking the time. But one last question, if I can ask, and I know you've been asked this question many times before, and it does come up often, is what if my geothermal tax credit amount exceeds what I paid into the federal government for the year? Can you just help us with that one, Doug?
Well, let's just make up something real fast here. Yes, let's suppose that your system cost $12,000 or whatever it might be, and let's suppose that you paid in $10,000 in income tax. It's my understanding, and I'm sure this is right, but first year you could get $10,000 back, because you can't get more back in a year than you paid in. So you get $10,000 back the first year, and then you can carry over to the next year over that extra amount and get the next $2,000 back out of the next year.
Very good. Thanks, Doug. That's a great explanation. And again, as Doug and I have shared, just definitely check with your tax accountant and make sure that you get looked after. But what a wonderful opportunity for those that do pay in and do pay federal taxes to have this come back and help you right on your own property for years and years to come. Well, thank you very, very much, everybody, for tuning in with us, and we very much appreciate it. This was presented by Hydron Module Geothermal Systems, and our guest today was Mr. Doug Rye from Arkansas. Thanks again, Doug.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.